When his fence is trashed daily, a retired cop decides to teach his neighbors a lesson. They could fume all they wanted. They could scream and throw fits until their faces turned purple and their heads popped off. It didn't matter, as he wasn't going to back down. Someone had to teach all of them a lesson. His clever yet devastating trap was perfectly legal. It had been almost a year since Matt had left the police department. Retirement had crept out of nowhere, and now it was time to enjoy other things in life. Matt had even found a new love of gardening and permaculture. This was also the perfect chance to spend more time with his family. However, the extra free time had made Matt notice something. At first, this had been an annoyance. As much as Matt had loved their gated community, it was still filled with a few notable spoiled brats who drove their parents' cars too fast. There were also too many entitled rich couples that thought the world owed them. Matt was also well aware of how the neighborhood viewed him. Having a cop as a neighbor made the people in Matt's community feel like they had a friend on the force. A single call from Matt would make all their problems go away, or so they assumed. Things like DUIs or speeding tickets took several firm no's and plenty of arguments for people to finally take the hint. But things didn't end here. The pieces fell into place one day when Matt started on a new garden project. He wanted to improve and shape the beautiful cypress trees that surrounded his property. However, when Matt inspected the outer corner, he realized he had a bigger problem than just trimming. It seemed that people were being purposely neglectful. The public road turned into a fairly tight corner around his land. But for anyone who took it a bit slower, even the speed limit, it wouldn't be an issue. But there, a lean tree sat, broken and brown from daily car contact from his neighbors. He sighed, shook his head, and called an old friend in road construction. Matt managed to get road barrels and filled them with water. It would be a better, clear barrier and was also within his property line and well within his rights. Anyone who complained could either like it or lump it. But only a few days later, Matt would have to change his plans. The temporary wall was already leaking in a few barrels empty. Matt fumed and grumbled. He decided to fill them with something stronger, cement. It seemed to be the perfect solution until one of the speed-happy spoiled brats ran into them head-on and destroyed them. That's when the rich parents turned furious. They tried to blame Matt, but when they found out that they were in the wrong, they threw an adult fit and decided to play dirty. The rich parents called the community council and got the barrels removed because they were not good. Matt realized what was happening and decided that it was time to set a trap. Matt soon came back from the store with all the supplies he needed, which included wood, metal, cement, dirt and some flowers. It was going to look amazing and would certainly be up to community standards. Along with more help from his friend in construction, Matt was going to play their game and win. This was going to be the most beautiful speed trap ever. The end result was so lovely that Matt's wife also adored it. The cement frame of the tiny garden was reinforced so even a tank wouldn't break it. This time, instead of leaving a few feet of forgiveness for cars, Matt went right to the edge of his property, leaving out a sharp corner for stupid drivers to catch and destroy their frames on. A few days later, the much-expected crashing sound came. The neighbor's car had straddled a small flower bed. Matt went out with a satisfied smile and handed the driver a prepared manila envelope. Inside were clear indicators of his property and any other legal documents. The small camera he had hidden over his trees would give all the proof he needed, and anyone who hit him would pay. It wasn't about the money, but Matt knew that cash was all these people ever understood. Either court dates were about to become another retirement hobby, or people would finally take the hint. Matt wasn't there to be walked all over. It took a few more hits until things finally started to change. The events began lessening with only an occasional idiot driver screaming about his destroyed car. A new warming sign had also been put up for non-residents. Matt could finally garden in peace and play with his grandchildren outside without worrying about their safety. The general attitude of the area also somewhat calmed down, although there were still a few snobs and brats that held a grudge. There may even be drama ahead, but the neighbors now knew not to mess with a retired cop who loved his garden.